Assalamu alaikum. This is Khobor welcoming you to the English news from BTV Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. Martyrs families of July uprising frustrated for verdict's delay. Justice should be completed within shortest possible time, hopes prosecutor. State's appeal hearing against High Court's verdict acquitting accused in August 21st grenade attack case postponed until Wednesday. Upcoming national election to be held within government-declared time frame, says law advisor. European Union to provide €4 million assisting 13th national parliamentary election, announces EU Ambassador Michael Miller. Trump hosts Zelensky and top European leaders at White House for talks to find ways of ending Ukraine war. And Leeds United secure 1-0 victory over Everton in English Premier League at Elland Road. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now, moving on to the details. Even though 1 year has passed since the July mass uprising, the families of the martyrs are frustrated that the verdicts for the genocide cases have still not been delivered. Injured July fighters have also expressed their anger over the delay. However, the prosecutor of the International Crimes Tribunal said that despite various obstacles which have slowed the tribunal's proceedings, investigations for several cases have already been completed and trials are underway. Witnesses' testimonies are currently being recorded, and if all goes well, the prosecutor is hopeful that verdicts could be delivered within this year. He also noted that such a rapid pace of investigation has never been seen before in the tribunal's history. Still, some people fear that with the national election approaching, the genocide trials may be stalled or slowed down. So far, 450 complaints have been filed with the tribunal. Among these, 30 are miscellaneous cases involving 209 accused individuals. Of them, 84 have been arrested and are currently in custody. The Supreme Court has postponed the hearing on the state's appeal against the High Court's acquittal of all defendants, including acting chairman of the BNP Tariq Rahman and former state minister for Home Affairs Lutfuzzzaman Babur. The hearing has been adjourned until Wednesday. The third day of the appeal hearing began on Tuesday morning before an appellate bench led by Chief Justice Said Rifat Ahmed. Deputy Attorney General Abdullah Al Mahmoud represented the state, while senior lawyers SM Shahjahan and Mohammed Shishir Monir represented the defendants. The High Court bench of Justice AKM Asaduzzman and Justice Said Inayat Hussain had acquitted all the accused in the case on December 1st, 2024. The full verdict was published on December 19, after which the state filed separate leave to appeal petitions. The state was granted permission to appeal against the High Court's verdict on June 1st, and the hearing on the appeal has now commenced. Law advisor Dr. Asif Nazrul has said that the upcoming national election will be held within the timeframe announced by the interim government. He came up with the assertion today while speaking to journalists at Bangladesh Secretariat. Asif Nazrul said that there is no scope to backtrack from the timeframe announced by the head of the interim government regarding the national election. The interim government is determined to hold the election on schedule, he asserted, pointing out that the quality of political parties has not changed. The advisor said that holding the election is the responsibility of the government, not the parties. The election will be held in February. He further mentioned that the laws will soon be formed to implement the recommendations concerning reforms of the Anti-Corruption Commission and the Election Commission. The European Union will provide €4 million in assistance for the 13th national parliamentary election. EU Ambassador Michael Miller made the announcement today while speaking to the media after meeting with Chief Election Commissioner AMM Nasiruddin at the Election Commission headquarters in Agargaon. The six-member EU delegation was led by Ambassador Miller. The EU envoy said that the European Union wants to see an election in Bangladesh that meets international standards. BNP Standing Committee member Salahuddin Ahmed has said that if the July Charter is placed above the Constitution, it will set a bad example for the future. He made these remarks this afternoon while speaking to journalists at his residence in the capital's Gulshan. Salahuddin Ahmed said among the 84 points raised in the July Charter, how the points agreed upon by all political parties will be implemented, how the issues that received notes of the dissent will be resolved, and how the matters relating to constitutional reforms will be carried out. These are the urgent questions now. The first meeting of the steering committee formed to discuss the arrangement of the Children and Teenagers Talent Search Competition Notun Kori 2025 held at the Bangladesh Television headquarters at Rampura in Dhaka today. BTV Director General Muhammad Mahbubul Alam presided over the meeting. The meeting discussed in detail the plans for conducting the Notun Kori audition process at the regional and divisional levels. Registration for participation in the Notun Kori competition has already begun and will continue until 5th of September. The competition will be held in a total of 9 categories, including acting, dance, and music. Boys and girls aged between 6 to 11 and 11 to 15 can participate in 2 age groups in the competition. Joint Secretary of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Mahfuz Akhtar, along with other members of the steering committee, attended the meeting. The BTV Director General made various instructions to conduct selection process at the regional and divisional levels smoothly. Chattogram City Corporation has launched a beautification program at Station Road area aiming to clear street vendors and improve pedestrian and traffic flow. City Mayor Dr. Shahadat Hussain inaugurated the initiative this morning, emphasizing the city's commitment to restoring urban beauty and ensuring unhindered movement for all. He stated that the program will continue to prevent illegal street occupation. To further enhance the area and facilitate smoother movement, the mayor placed flower pots along both the sides of the roads. They also appealed to vendors to refrain from setting up shops on paths and streets. Chattogram City Corporation officials, local administration members, political leaders, among others, were present on the occasion. Now, international news. United States President Donald Trump has announced plans to convene a face-to-face summit between Russian leader Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in his latest bid to end Moscow's war in Ukraine. Trump's proposal on Monday came as he hosted Zelensky and top European leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron and United Kingdom Prime Minister Keir Starmer, at the White House for talks on ending the conflict, which has raged since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Trump said he had begun arrangements for the summit after speaking with Putin by phone and that he would hold a trilateral meeting with his Russian and Ukrainian counterparties following their two-way meeting. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz and NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte separately confirmed that Putin had agreed to a bilateral meeting but did not specify a date or location. Zelensky, who described his meeting with Trump as a very good conversation, told reporters that he was ready to meet the Russian leader one-on-one. Moscow did not immediately confirm that it had agreed to a summit, but Russia's state-run TASS news agency cited presidential aide Yuri Usakov as saying that Putin and Trump spoke in favor of continuing direct talks between Russian and Ukrainian delegations. At least 26 people have been killed in Gaza since dawn, including 6 in Israeli attacks on tents housing displaced people in Khan Yunis and 4 in a tent in Deir al-Balah, according to hospitals. Israeli forces blew up houses in southern Gaza City, while heavy fire was reported in the Tufa neighborhood in eastern Gaza City. Meanwhile, Hamas says it has agreed to a mediator-backed proposal for a 60-day truce in Gaza with a path towards a sustainable ceasefire. Israeli officials said Hamas is under pressure as Israel plans a wider operation in Gaza City, while far-right ministers insist the war must continue. Israel's attack on Gaza has killed at least 62,004 people and wounded 156,230. Bolivia is heading to a presidential runoff between a centrist and right-wing candidate, confirming the end of the 2 decades of government by the Movement for Socialism, MAS, according to the South American country's Electoral Council. With more than 91% of the ballots counted on Sunday night, preliminary results showed centrist Rodrigo Paz of the Christian Democratic Party, PDC, in the lead, with 32.8% of the vote. Conservative former interim president George Tuto Quiroga of the Alianza Liberal Coalition was in second place with 26.4% of the vote, meaning he will raise and face Paz, the son of former left-leaning President Jaime Paz, in a runoff election on October 19th. Candidates needed to surpass 50% or 40% with a 10-point margin of victory to avoid a runoff. Early results confirmed that MAS, which has governed the country since 2005, is out of the picture.